I've been thinking, there you go, we're recording. I've been thinking about rare pairs so much and side characters I love, and I've forgotten so many. I know they're there, but
I think
I
honestly,
can't.
no. I know exactly what happened is that you were like me, where you had a categorized book of rare pairs and side characters, and then Miritama happened,
Yeah.
and that whole book just caught fire,
Yeah.
and now you don't know anyone else.
It's true. That is exactly,
I
it's
think that's
like,
what happened is that you were like me, where you had this itemized list, per series,
mm-hmm.
and then one day Miritama just walked in,
Yeah.
did the bare minimum, and then all of your eggs went into one basket.
Yep.
And all the other baskets caught fire.
Yep. That is exactly what happened. And I didn't have any insurance.
Yeah. So the eggs are just gone.
I think that if I know for sure that if I sit down with some of these series, and I'll be like, all right, because they are there.
You find them all over again.
Yeah. It's just that because I always routinely, because I'm cursed, fall in love with the characters that have the least screen time. Like if there's a character who appears for a split second in the background, I'm gonna be like, that's my favorite character. That one.
Yes,
that's me.
Yes.
So welcome
to the Yaoi Shelf. Grab a seat and relax. We have a lot of new listeners.
Wow, yeah, thank you. Hello.
Hi. Welcome. I am so sorry that we have neither the intelligence, eloquence, grace, or tact as Dr. Thomas.
Yeah, I went to a panel on Friday because it was just Pride in my town, and I've been to 3 panels a day all week. And the final panel I went to was a panel on trans joy, which was amazing because it was just trans people being amazing and happy and talking about gender euphoria. And one of the panelists, she was like, you need to feel euphoric about your gender regardless of whether you identify as a man, a woman, or an eldritch abomination. And I feel seen. Okay, so yeah, we don't have the eloquence of Dr. Thomas. We're just eldritch abominations screeching about characters we love.
I've actually had a bit of an identity crisis because we keep getting all these people who go, oh my god, this episode was so good. It's wow, I cannot wait to let you all down immediately next week because I can't wait.
We have a steady audience who have stuck with us for whatever reason, so I'm assuming we're doing something right. But
we are, but I was just sitting there. It's man, I can't wait to disappoint all of you because
I'm so sorry.
Because that's not who we are.
We do occasionally have some good points, but we are not Dr. Thomas.
No, Dr. Thomas, we are not. But welcome to the show. Again, grab a seat and relax. We are here to talk about rare pairs and side characters because it is Carola's anniversary.
Yay!
1 year ago, the show underwent a dramatic and drastic change. And I knew that for whatever reason, I wanted to keep the show going. I guess because I'm a masochist and a narcissist. Could be both.
Maybe.
And, I tossed and turned at night thinking who I wanted to be on the show. And I kept remembering this one person who I was in an arranged panel marriage with.
It's such a... What an experience that was.
It's such a bizarre story in hindsight.
I know, it's so weird. I was thinking about it this morning, actually, and I was like, how did that even...
In hindsight, it's such a bizarre story, but, after a certain point, it's I can't really see anyone else that I trust. And I chose Carola, and I genuinely think it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made. But enough me talking. Carola, would you like to tell anything to the audience and listeners about you being here for 1 whole year?
I can't believe I've been here for a whole year.
I know, right? Shocking.
It doesn't feel like it's been a year. I feel like the only kind of marker I have on it is that I know that we have our Halloween episode coming up, and it's but we just had a Halloween episode. Like because we did Matt and Mellow and we had a blast, and that was a year ago. What the hell? I don't understand anything.
We had such a good time as Matt and Mello, and like we
I
both looked
still
at each
can't.
other.
I still can't remember what the topic of that episode actually was because I keep referring to it as the Death Note episode.
We covered psychological abuse.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've covered a lot of things.
We have,
but we've also talked. I mean, excessively about gravitation and Bokuaka.
I don't have a problem. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're.
I'm not gonna put Dobby in this Drifloon basket.
Oh my god, you have a Drifloon basket. Yes. That's new.
Yeah, I got it for my birthday.
It's so cute.
So I'm gonna put Dobby right here in the little Drifloon basket.
Oh god. But yeah, no, I've had a blast. It's been a really, really fun and exciting year, and we've done a lot of cool things this year, I feel.
We've done things we've never done on the show before. We've had guests, really, really good and eloquent and brilliant ones.
We did FujoCon?
We did FujoCon, which we did in the previous show, but I think we're a little bit better. Like we've done stuff, and I'm so amazed at Carola. Carola is truly become a friend and not just a collaborator. She makes sure that I eat. She's worried about how much coffee I have in a day.
My concerns are valid because honestly, listen,
I never said they weren't.
But I also want to mention, I mean, yes, I care about you greatly, and I'm looking after you in my own goblin creature kind of way. But yes. I also have to admit that I woke up this morning and the first thing I did was drink Red Bull because I was so friggin' tired. So it's
which is honestly like the most emblematic of Fujin caring, is doing the exact wrong thing that you're worried about someone else doing. Like, I'm the first to tell my friends at con, oh my god, make sure you eat and drink water, knowing that I haven't eaten anything in days to look good in the costume, and the only water I've consumed has been like dew off of leaves.
Yeah, but I'll be like when we did TotaCon, and of course, I'm an organizer. So I'm running around telling literally everyone that they need to drink water. Meanwhile, my water bottle is over there at my workstation, and I can't get to it because I keep having to work. And I haven't had a drink of water, I don't know, since Thursday, I guess. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm looking out for everyone else.
So that's where we are and what we've been doing. We're here to talk about RarePairs because that is what Carola wanted to talk about for her anniversary.
Yes.
RarePairs and side characters. We're expanding it a little bit just because I feel like if we did just a RarePair episode, it would be more chaotic screeching than normal because we both have, which will happen in the Patreon episode. Yes. Patrons, look forward to a very chaotic episode in which we go into detail about some of our favorite RarePairs and side characters. But for the sake of this episode, Carola, would you like to tell the audience what a RarePair is?
A RarePair. I mean, I actually did some reading, and people disagree on how you qualify something as a RarePair.
Of course they do. It's the internet.
Of course. Generally speaking, it's a pairing, a ship that is on the less popular side. That doesn't have a lot of fan works dedicated to them. And of course, the RarePairs can be characters from the same series, or they can be crossover RarePairs as well. There's an abundance. I will say this because I, as we all know by now, am so out of touch with actual fandoms. Like, I just live on my own little island, paddling around. So I don't actually know what constitutes as RarePairs anymore because I don't know what anyone else is shipping. I'm just living in my own little bubble at this point.
So for me, a RarePair has always been more about, this is a pairing that a lot of people aren't paying attention to.
Yeah.
It isn't so much that they're just like fringe. It's more of just like, this is a combination that, may appear popular or may appear to make sense, but people just aren't showing up for it.
Yeah. And also, I think because we're also bringing the side characters into it, because so many RarePairs, at least for me, are side characters, are
Yes.
characters who are essentially just background characters where I'll be like, yes, I want that.
And the other side of RarePair can be main characters paired with characters that you wouldn't normally see them paired with.
Yeah.
Your big shonen series will actually get a decent amount of that because, you know, all the characters are written so horribly that in theory all of them have better chemistry together than many of the female main characters.
You're not wrong.
No. Thank you. So, like, a RarePair, you know, okay, I'm thinking like big shonen Naruto. A RarePair could probably be Naruto and Kankuro. But you could probably make a case for that still, considering how close the Sand Village becomes with the Leaf Village, how close Gaara and the Sand siblings become with Naruto and his crew specifically. So, like, even if on surface that sounds like two random things, you could probably make a case for it. And there's probably at least one or two people that feel very, very strongly about that, which is no besmirchment to them. One of the things that I love about RarePair, and Carola can probably back me up on this, is that this tends to be where you get the most emblematic, like, platonic ideals of, like, what a shipping manifesto is, of what someone who has studied this work more than you could ever imagine, knows it more than the main the main writers, has encyclopedic knowledge, and this panel on this page in this chapter, their fingers brushed against each other, ergo they are married.
See also Amanda talking about Matt and Mello.
Can I help you?
No, I'm just saying you're an expert.
I am.
You are a walking Matt Mello encyclopedia.
I love those boys.
I also love those boys, and you can't. I don't know if you can call them a rare pair because let's face it, they're not a rare pair,
but that does transition us into side characters.
Yeah, and Matt.
Matt, if you want to open up the dictionary of a side character who is almost in places more popular than main characters, it is Matt.
He's the poster boy.
He is the poster boy for a character that doesn't get a speaking line until he fucking dies in the anime.
And he appears in 8 panels.
8 panels! And there are people that have dedicated whole ass religions to this man.
And rightfully so, because have you seen him? Like,
he's great. I love that nerd.
It's perfect.
But that's a side character.
Yeah.
Arguably, for Mello being main cast, because the series is badly written, we spend more time with Nier, who has the emotional intelligence of a still dirty potato.
I mean...
Also, can we agree that the fan theory that Nier eats the plastic toys is real?
You know, I'm not going to argue with it because...
He eats those toys, right? That's what he's doing?
Yeah.
He's eating those toys.
I'm concerned. I have a lot of concerns. But you're right, because I've never... Now we're getting into the Death Note territory again, but like I've never been particularly invested in Nier because let's face it, he's
a potato.
Yeah, he's just there as a like placeholder, and he's like supposed to be L light, but he's just boring.
Yeah, he is.
I like him better now than I used to, and after I read the one shots, I like him a little more. I think because I'm a simpleton, and long-haired Nier is kind of pretty, but like,
he looks like that one woman who was locked in her room for like 50 years. Don't look at pictures of this.
Which one?
The French one.
French.
I don't remember her name, but she was locked in her room for like 50 years, and she had like the long hair, and she looked like a skeleton a little bit, and like she lost her ability to speak. It was really, really sad. I don't remember her name. I'm not going to say not a lot of sleep. In fact, too much sleep because I've been taking depression naps. But
You were awake at 4 a.m. this morning
shut up.
for whatever reason.
No. We're not talking about that. So that goes into side characters. That's a tip of the iceberg of side characters. So now that we've tested the waters, we have some loose definitions. Why do people love this shit so much? Oh, do you want me to answer?
I don't know because all I could hear
Fujin brain divide by 0
was my own voice screeching inside my head. Why do I do this to myself time and time again? What is wrong with me? Why am I like this? That was what I was thinking. Because honestly, I don't know. I just love them.
So here's one writer's perspective. Shockingly, a lot of side characters have the perfect combination of a lot written about them and a little written about them. So, like, we're going to talk about Matt and Mello a lot. If you were hoping for any original takes, I'm deeply sorry. But Matt and Mello... Shut up. But Matt and Mello are the perfect example of not necessarily RarePair, but side character bliss. There is a horrifying amount of information about these guys once you get to the end that's canon, but there's also a lot that's left up for just utter debate. We don't know what these guys were doing in between joining Whammy's house, leaving Whammy's house, and then even Kira as a case, because Lord knows that's not their first case. We don't even know what they're doing behind the scenes for all of the Kira case.
I know what they're doing behind the scenes.
We know what they're doing, but we just know that for whatever reason, outside of the Yotsuba thing and kidnapping Light's fucking sister, because that's what you do, that Mello's just making every bad decision. We know that. Just every bad decision, Mello's chosen, yes, let's do that. And then whatever the fuck Matt's doing, which has to be important because Mello wouldn't keep him around if it wasn't important.
No, he wouldn't.
That's the thing. So then you have this character, Matt, who really is, he's a blank slate, but with a lot of the lines drawn in.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can paint him however you want. As we discovered, we don't know what color hair he fucking has because the internet decided to use a redhead.
Yeah, and the fandom is still kind of sticking to it, even though
we no longer know at this stage. But we don't know what he's doing. We just know it's important enough that Mello keeps him around. We know it matters enough that Mello trusts him with his life because he's not going and doing this shit with Nier. He's not doing this stuff with Watari. He's not doing this stuff with anyone else. He's doing it with Matt. We know that they clearly made a connection when they were in school. Clearly, because Mello's not doing this with anyone else. So we have all of this open text that, especially Fujin, we love those crevices. Those are the crevices we love because there's some definition, but not a lot of definition. And we can just wriggle on in there, get comfy and be like, yeah, I'm going to make some gay subtext here.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what happens.
And it's like, again, because when you're talking about fandom in general and shipping in general and talking about how the term yaoi supposedly, or it originated as from that one doujin, and then they were like, oh, what should it stand for? And they were kind of jokingly stating that it was Yamanashi, Oshinashi, Iminashi, no point, no plot, no meaning. Yeah, but there's still a something. So there's a something between the characters that we're seeking to explore, and that is that perfect combination of, okay, clearly they have something, clearly there's a depth to this character or to this pairing, and we get to fill it, and we get to fill it with whatever we want. And then in some cases, like with Matt, for instance, you have this extremely well developed headcanon that is just like that everyone agrees on, that everyone's kind of on board with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's funny that Matt is so emblematic of this, and we'll talk about other characters, especially in the Patreon episode. Not trying to plug too much, but Matt really is one of the perfect examples of this because, yeah, like we know a lot about him by the end of the series. We know his real name, we know his birthday, we know how tall he is, we know his age, we know a lot about him, but we also don't know a lot about him.
Yeah.
So it's really, really easy to embody those spaces where there's like me as a fan fiction writer, one of the reasons why I continue to love writing fan fiction is that I'm not great with just giving me a blank piece of paper. Like I was actually just talking about this on my other show. I like painting things. Give me like a wooden cutout. Fucking love that. Give me 50 of those and I'll go crazy. If you give me just a blank canvas and like some watercolor, I'm not going to know what to fucking do. That doesn't make me any less creative.
No.
That doesn't make me any less an artist, even though I'll struggle to call myself an artist. I have a hard time if you just say, write a story. What? Because I get in my head and like there is no original story. Every story is just the same 3 Shakespearean plays. I get in my head and I'm just like dividing by 0. But I love fan fiction because here's this sandbox. Here's this lovely sandbox that someone else made. Hello, Sansa.
Hello, Sansa.
Here's this lovely sandbox that someone else made. And lo and behold, tragically, much of this sandbox is garbage. Or at least is garbage in my opinion. As the elite alpha Fujin. Most of this sandbox is garbage. Because there's not enough gay in it. There's not enough characters that I like, and there's not enough gay.
I think that not enough gay is a perfectly valid argument.
Because we all know if either Carola or I got to rewrite Death Note, that is a very different series.
I am forever stuck on the fact that I read that one doujin before I got to that one chapter in the manga, and therefore I honestly thought they were going to have filthy sex on the cell floor, and I was very confused.
Also, can we just pause for a second there? I have never understood why that was the idea. Like, I have to monitor this horny teenage boy. I know what I'm going to do.
Voyeurism.
Yeah, like I've never understood. And like people will get mad like to this, like, oh, I can't believe that you ship Light and L. It's like because L hasn't made a straight choice this entire case. What do you mean? This is canon. I don't know what you see. I don't know if we're watching the same show, but
I don't know. It's right there.
Right, like L hasn't made a straight choice the entire time. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, like if you gave us the keys to Death Note, it'd be a bit of a different series.
Yeah.
And honestly, what's amazing about side characters as well is that it can honestly be characters that are a part of your main ensemble. We're focusing on non-BL works just because it ties into the whole BL fan creation thing, but BL is rife with it as well. Yeah. I spent a lot of my time watching Gravitation thinking, I would just love to watch Toma torture Mr. Sakano.
Okay. That's not what I thought you were going to say.
For 25 episodes.
I agree with this one, actually.
I'd love to see just a mini series that is like a YouTube like vlogging thing of just K with guns. Love that.
Yeah. But it's like, I do this, and I was looking through my shelf because I know that there's a lot of manga that I own that is like, I don't have anything against the main couple, but in BL, we typically have, which again, isn't really as irrational as a lot of people used to think, because look at me now, I don't have any cishet friends anymore. We're all gay or queer in some fashion, but all the, like, everyone in BL are gay, and there's always like more than one couple, especially in series that go on for multiple volumes. There will be these side characters, and I do have a tendency of getting more invested in like the random friend's boyfriend than the main couple sometimes. And
Absolutely.
one of the most recent examples is I was watching the Cherry Magic drama, like the drama series.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big fan. I mean, I know a lot of people disagree with me. I'm not a big fan of Cherry Magic because it does too much of that thing that I don't like, where it's like, why must everyone be an adult who is so stinking pure that they've never kissed or held hands? Or, and I know that that's part of the concept, because the concept is you're a virgin and that's why you're a wizard now. Like, anyway, I was watching the drama and I became completely obsessed with Minato, the delivery boy, who becomes one half of like the side couple that doesn't get any time. And I love him so much and I love them so much. And if they get a spin off series, I will be so happy, because that's who
Right.
I am.
Like, I mean, again, obviously unoriginal take here. Twittering Birds has that with a bunch of characters that I'm just sitting here looking like, what's y'all's day like?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? What is a day in the life of this company where Yashiro's just fucking people in the middle of the day? Can I get just a side story of what Nanahata's doing?
Yeah,
Give
right?
me that. What are those daily life comics? Give me that with Nanahata.
Yeah.
Please. I am begging.
But you get so much of that with BL as well. Like, you'll have
Yes.
these, like the main story and then like the spin-offs and all of these volumes. And because I think BL mangaka are, because they are us, they know that this is going to happen, so they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna tell their story next, and they'll be like,
well, and there's some BL masters that are amazing at it. Obviously, it's not the Yaoi Shelf without mentioning Fumio Shinaga. She does a lot of that. Antique Bakery is rife with it, where, yeah, you do have to know some of the relationships that are going on in the background. Like the fact that Eiji is fucking his much older French teacher because Tachibana makes him learn French to be a baker. And he starts fucking Constance, his French teacher.
as one does.
As one does. And it's a bit of a scandal because, like, she's significantly older than him. You have to know all of these side relationships. And then, Antique Bakery does it best, where a character that appears for one episode changes my entire perception on why I love terrible blonde men.
And you do love a terrible blonde man.
Oh, I love a terrible blonde man. I do. And you get some series that are so aware of it. One of my favorites, and it's one that I don't talk about enough, it's The World That Revolves Around Al and Neri, which is a classic at this stage, done by the same creator. Oh my god, they've done a bunch. It's Basso. Sorry, it's Basso. And it's about this Italian gay couple. And yeah, it's about them, but it's also about everyone around them. It's about the guy that owns the gelato shop. It's about the guy that owns the cafe. It's about the other two homosexuals who are sluttier than Al and Neri. Like, it's about all of these things and the world surrounding them, because you're never just in a bubble. And I loved that about a lot of mid 2000s BL, especially, is that there were entire side stories of just, hey, those two characters that you thought we forgot about, we didn't. They're actually in this relationship, and here they are. Toritani did that a lot with their characters, where it's like, oh, hey, those other guys that are in this environment, here's stories about them, because they also have stories. So BL has been doing this, which is one of the reasons why I think it's more interesting to approach it from the non-BL lens, because BL, again, mostly written by fans, has been doing this. It has been acknowledging that, that one character that you thought you'd never see again, just kidding, they matter a lot, which is why when you get to non-BL works, fangirls still, we have those goggles. Yeah. We have those Fujin goggles that are trained. That one guy's only spoken one line. He's going to be really fucking important in a minute. We have that. Who are the two ninja that were like best friends during the Chunin exam?
Kotetsu and Izumo.
Those hoes.
Yeah. And it's like Kotetsu and Izumo are clearly married, and
Obviously.
then there's Hayate and Gemma. And Hayate, Gemma, and
Okay.
Izumo essentially look like they're the same person.
They are all the same
And
character with different hair.
Except Kotetsu, who has the spiky hair and the beard.
Yes.
But so he and Izumo are clearly married. But I will
Obviously.
gladly ship those two with Genma and Hayate any day. Like that
Okay.
foursome. Yes.
I have a slight confession to make. I much rather put Hayate with Kakashi Sensei.
I'll take it.
Thank you. Or also, I just like that weird sleepy man to myself. Since I was a kid.
Yeah, but they are such a perfect example, and that was like my first thought when we started talking about making this episode was those four, because they are the perfect example.
So, fun fact about me, I collect the Naruto trading card game.
We didn't even have that here. I've been deprived.
I don't know how to play it. Don't ask anyone who knows. Don't ask anyone who has these cards to play it. None of us fucking know. They're bookmarks to me. But
I would just collect them. Like,
yeah, a lot of these characters are in pairs in the card game. They don't get individual cards. They're in pairs. Hayate gets his own card because he does that one thing where he's by himself for a little while, where he fights Baki. But like,
yeah.
He gets his own card because he did the one thing. But the other ones that you mentioned, they're in a card pair together. They do not get individual cards. Like,
no, but they're attached at the hip.
They are, and I think about. My brain is still spinning a little bit from Dr. Thomas being on and thinking about like, this stuff isn't just girls who want to see boys kissing. It's not. And like, one thing that I remember being a young Fujin is, oh, you guys will just ship anyone. Sure. There are some of us that will do that. Absolutely. Do I have any reason to think that certain characters are fucking each other? No, I don't. Outside of hopes, dreams, and feelings. Which are valid.
Valid.
But at the same time, most of it, there's more thought than you think.
Yeah.
And tying it back to canonicity, there's usually, some kind of reason why we feel this way. Very, very rarely, I would say, is it just we've, thrown darts at a board and now these two characters are fucking.
Yeah.
Has that happened? Fuck yes.
Sure.
Of course it has. These characters are in the same goddamn series.
So sometimes it's literally as simple as, okay, but I like their designs and they would look hot together. Like, yeah. And I just want to see that. But sometimes it's like, for instance, Kotetsu and Izumo are so tightly knit together that people generally tend to not know which is which because they are a unit. And there's no way to not sort of think of them as a unit and as a couple. And then you have other pairings that are based on things like these characters would have a very deep understanding of each other because they come from similar backgrounds or they have similar experiences that where you would want to see them explore that together or help each other through it. Like, there's a lot of that as well. And I think especially, again, because going back to the Naruto fandom, there's so much of it there because, again, everyone has a fucking tragic backstory. No one was happy. Everyone was incredibly gay. But, there's so much. There are all of these factors that you can bring into it that are just beyond, oh, I want to see them kiss because I think it would look neat,
Absolutely. And I think we really need to... I mean, people do it less because we've branched into the whole, like, oh my gosh, BL is just problematic. But, like, if any of you still have people that are looking at you and being like, oh, it's just girls being dumb and, smutty. And it's like, one, most of us aren't girls. Most of us.
For one,
most of us aren't girls. Two... again, it's like what Dr. Thomas said. You're getting into this bad faith idea that we're not thinking about this critically. And I would argue
May I interest you in a smoking hot fresh episode featuring Dr. Thomas? Just click
Right.
on the sidebar or
Yeah.
whatever.
You're asking, you're basically assuming that we've not given any thought to this when there is no group of people who've given thought to something more
Hmm.
than Fujin.
And that is, both thoughts on how would they act as a couple,
Exactly.
what is their dynamic, but
Exactly.
also the critical thinking of how am I engaging with this,
Hmm.
the moral and ethical questions. It's all there.
It is. It is. So that's kind of how rare pair and side characters happen. There's some why do we love it? Why do some series creators seem to hate them?
The pairs or the side characters?
Honestly, I think more side characters, because what tends to happen is again, going back to our roots, which is shonen, a lot of them do tend to die horribly or are just forgotten.
I have no idea what you're talking about, because I can assure you that everyone is fine and I am perfectly happy in my little house in Denial Land, where everyone is alive and well and thriving, Amanda.
Where no one has died, everything
No,
is okay.
no, everything
Neji is
is
still here.
no. Don't bring Neji into this.
Neji is still
I'm so
here.
sad.
Neji is still around. He's still here. Everything is fine.
I am fine.
You know, writer to writer, I have to admit, when you've built yourself this giant ensemble cast and everyone keeps paying attention to the one tree in the background, I can imagine it's a little bit discouraging.
But I think it's fun though. Like, I mean, again, I'm such a side character whore that
Yeah,
might be why. Because
but
when I published my most recent novel,
mhm,
because supporting characters are there for a reason. They do serve a
yeah,
purpose. And so Noah lives in this shared house with these
mhm,
boys, and they, the Rainbow Collective. They have a lot of fun. And there's this
mhm,
one character, Insung, and Insung is probably the side character that gets the least amount of attention in the story. And literally everyone I know who has read this book are obsessed with him. And I think it's
mhm.
so funny because I managed to create someone who is that to someone else, because
Yeah.
he just sort of floats around and everyone is obsessed with him. And I love
So,
that.
so I think, from the mainstream writer perspective, it must be, again, like, I can imagine, because there are some series, Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles comes to mind. No one cares about Shaoran and Sakura. If they were to fall off a cliff episode 3, we'd all be happier. Everyone wanted the Kurofai show.
But I think that's so much fun too. If you think about, particularly again, like the mainstream series and like shonen series and things, they
Mm-hmm.
always have the character rankings in like Jump and
Yes.
similar publications, and you'll
Yes.
have these totally random like
Just the sidiest of side characters hasn't spoken, is like a chibi 3 panels over, and it's like, that's him. That's
yeah,
our
and
god.
he's like not even he's in the top tier. He's like in the top 3 for some reason. The author is sitting there like,
I know
what the
that
fuck?
happened a few times with Full Metal Alchemist, where
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
everyone was always popular. No one gave a fuck and a half about Alphonse. And
Yeah,
it
I
was
know,
one of
right?
Mustang's usually gremlin associates. It's like, how do we have a world where Havoc is more popular than Alphonse?
I know, it's so like, again, we're watching Brotherhood now. We have like 10 episodes left. But we're enjoying it. I mean, in the sense that you can enjoy something that is so incredibly depressing because of Jesus fucking Christ. But
Yeah, it
but
really
like
is.
but because I watched the old show and I can't really remember it a lot because I did only watch it once and it's a million years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't remember Alphonse as having a lot of agency because, it was like Ed's show and Al was
Mm-hmm.
just there. And so when Al is actually doing things, I'm like, wow, he's actually, he's not that useless. But I never
No.
realized because no one ever pays any attention to him. And I don't
Right.
know if that is because, Al is a giant piece of armor and he's not a sexy Bishonen.
So I'm a soft apologist for the original because I don't like some of the decisions that were made in Brotherhood. I will not say them because I don't want to ruin anything for you. So like I'm not crazy about some of the decisions that were made in Brotherhood. So I am a pretty big apologist for the original run of the series. Yes,
But I enjoyed the original series as well, though.
But I know it's strays from canon. You can fuck right off with that. I don't care. I write fan fiction. Nothing is canon anymore. I am God.
And you're allowed.
Yeah, new sticker coming to the shop. Nothing is canon. I am God. Alphonse did have a shocking amount of agency, and he also had a shocking amount of sway over his brother. So that voice of reason for Edward's like raging narcissism boner was Alphonse. The humanity was Alphonse. The person usually telling Edward to stop before he beats the tar out of someone is Alphonse. In that weird, like, symbolic way, he is the human heart of the show. So he tends not to look like he has a lot of agency, but it's what we call in politics soft power. So I think him not being a sexy Bishonen doesn't help him, like, design and fan work wise, because unless you do the fanfic that scarred me for life, you can't really do a lot of Elric cest.
And yet,
unless you want to do Shota Elric cest, which I'm going to go ahead and say I do not advocate for. So it's hard to, frankly, it's hard to sexualize him. Not impossible, as we've seen, but it is hard to sexualize him. And
anything is possible. It's fandom, so like,
yes. So
people get creative,
and not just physically. I think honestly, like, emotionally, it's kind of hard to sexualize him. Like, I don't read a lot of Elric cest, mostly because of the fan fiction that scarred me for life. But like, even the couple of times before I had read it, it feels wrong.
Yeah, but I have characters like that too.
Yeah, and like, not even in the obvious incest part, but just like, it feels like this isn't something. It feels too out of character, both for Edward and then for Alphonse. Because you either have to make Alphonse some kind of like slutty little minx, right?
I'm struggling.
Right. Or you have to make Edward like a super predator. Which, right. That exact thing. Yes. If you're a listener only, I'm so sorry. But that exact, yes. You have to do one of those two things and neither fit.
Yes.
So, it's hard to sexualize Alphonse. It's hard to give him, it's hard to put him in a lot of fan works. It's hard because in a lot of ways, he is that pure human beating heart. He is also the MacGuffin.
The what?
He's the MacGuffin.
What the hell is a MacGuffin?
Okay, so Alfred Hitchcock coined this term called a MacGuffin, and it's the item that matters most to the series. So like the Maltese Falcon or like the Infinity Stones or something like that. But at any point in time, you could swap out the MacGuffin for something else. And the item doesn't really matter, but its place in the story is still important. So at any point in time, you can punch out the Maltese Falcon and replace it with a Babe Ruth.
The baseball player?
No, the candy bar.
Oh! Remember, Norway.
Sorry.
I don't know all your strange candy bars.
Yeah, the candy bar. You could replace the Maltese Falcon with a Babe Ruth, and realistically, the story doesn't change that much. It's still the magical acting item. It's just no longer a Maltese Falcon, it's a Babe Ruth. So really, for Full Metal Alchemist, Alphonse is a MacGuffin. He's the physical embodiment of something that we need to fix. That's also probably one of the reasons why it's, one, hard to sexualize him, and two, it's honestly kind of hard to get in his head.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing there. Like,
Oh, you're so proud of yourself. You're just like, you're so smug.
Hey.
But that's also another thing that I took with me from the Trans Joy panel. Someone raised their hand and they were like, yeah, so I'm very euphoric about my gender, and my question is, how do I go about this without being a smug dick about it? And the panel was like,
Be a smug dick.
exactly.
Be a smug dick.
And that's
Yeah, it's
you
great.
right now.
Yeah,
You're
that's yes. Hey. I'm a smug dick more than I like admitting, but that's who
I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
That's why I ended up being mellow. It's like I'm
I
a
love
smug
your
dick.
smugness. I'm so excited for Halloween.
Because you get to be the smug dick. You get to be the smug.
Yeah, but I also get to be the cryptid child.
We're both playing cryptid children
It's
in our
in
our fucking 30s. The children are gonna lose their minds.
Listen. I am a fucking adult and I do what I want.
The children are going to lose their minds.
But how many children listeners do? If you're an anti-child still listening to this show,
thank you for your ad money. We appreciate
it.
So, okay, if writers occasionally hate side characters as they often get sidelined or shoved into a corner,
or killed,
or murdered horribly, why do writers keep making side characters more important or more interesting than main characters? You know, I think it's the freedom.
Yeah.
I think it's, I remember reading over some of the mangaka's notes on Mello, because again, if you were expecting an original take from us, you are wrong. And that Mello really was this character study in what would like the anti-L be. Someone who's just as intelligent, but has no emotional intelligence, cannot read the room, is willing to shoot the farmer to make an omelet. What is the anti-L? Because, Nier is supposed to be, L 2.0. He's supposed to be the better L. He's less emotional. He's not. The case was already solved. He's not smart. He just survived due to attrition. He waited it out. It was like a chess game. He just sat there.
Obviously, he is smart because he was one of the Whammy kids. Like, we've already made that argument for Matt, so we can't say that Nier is stupid.
I did not know. You're not twisting my words against me. I didn't say he was stupid. I said he's boring. I said the case was solved. L had this case solved by episode 3.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Again, and I know we've talked about this in like 5 other episodes. He had it solved. He was just, keeping his man around. Yeah,
because he was just fooling around with his boyfriend.
He was enjoying himself.
He was having a time.
I mean, and again, what is it? These characters are just like, but you can play your little couple games without bringing literally everyone else into it. Like, why did you have to go and make this everybody else's problem? Like, Jesus.
I don't have answers for you. But, when I was looking at a lot of those notes, and even looking at, like, Matt, it's obvious there's thought put into these characters. It's clear that there's thought put into these characters. They wouldn't be there if there wasn't thought put into these characters.
Exactly. Which is, what I said. Because, one, going back to what you said, that the side characters, regardless of the intention of the author, they become popular with the fans because the fans find something with them. Be that, whatever they bring to the table, or, that they just have a cool character design, whatever. But speaking as an author, every character does have a purpose. Sometimes that purpose is just filling out space in the background. But sometimes that purpose is like, you need this character for the plot to move forwards. You need this character to be a part of the supporting cast for the main character story to move forward. So, so the side characters, they do play important roles.
They do.
But and they leave the fans with a lot of creative freedom because they can, again, similar but very differently to the whole self-insert type characters that you find in like otome series and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like reverse harem type series
Mm-hmm.
where they have no personality and everyone hates them. These
Mm-hmm.
characters have clear personality traits, and often it's just like, at least this is, you know, how I'm attracted to characters. There will be like one thing about them that I really love, and I'll turn into a raving lunatic about it, and I'll be obsessed with this one thing about them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you fill in the rest.
Absolutely. And like I think one other big thing is important to mention is, for as much as we talk about, side characters, not being important and not mattering, most of the time they do a lot.
Yeah, they
To
do.
bring it back to BL a little bit, there is no twittering birds without Nanahata.
Hmm.
There's not a series without him. Yashiro's murdered in a ditch somewhere without that man. Am I wrong?
No.
Like, this without Nanahata, no, that man is murdered somewhere in a ditch. Like, you need these side characters to maintain a lot of the world, a lot of the
Yeah.
artifice around it. Oftentimes, also to keep your series grounded in some kind of reality. A lot of side characters are doing a lot of the heavy lifting of providing commentary,
Yeah,
especially in
exactly.
BL, which is necessary. It's a lot of the side characters that are usually doing the whole, like, why don't you just say you're fucking gay?
Yeah, and I was just about to say that because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the time you will have characters that are, you know, they aren't good with words, or they are in situations where they can't fully express themselves for whatever reason, and you
Mm-hmm.
need someone to pull them out of it and to provide commentary and to
Mm-hmm.
sort of launch things, make things
Mm-hmm.
happen, and that's why you need these side characters. And that doesn't have anything
Absolutely.
to do with the main character being underdeveloped, but sometimes, like, especially when dealing with character types, it can be
Mm-hmm.
really hard to move things forward because the
Mm-hmm.
character type itself stands in the way, even though it's a great character. And so you need that one, you know, it's kind of like the comedy thing, you know, like Manzai, you
Mm-hmm.
have the bokeh and the straight man and the silly one, and that's kind of how it works, just not necessarily comedic, but
Mm-hmm.
it's for an effect, it's for a purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, one of the things I love about side characters so often is that, one, yes, they are providing a lot of necessary commentary. They also tend to make the series feel a little bit more real. I know a lot of BL sometimes, like, the cast is too intimate. Like, you're only seeing like one or two, like, you're seeing the main pairing and that's it. So
Yeah.
these worlds tend to feel a little lifeless, a little soulless, a little, too fixated. And then, you get a side character who breathes life. Liza or A Gentleman's Manners did that with Angel, where Angel is a character that you only meet for a few pages, but he breathes his new life into the work because for a while it's really only focused on Jonathan and Dr. Haskins, which is wonderful. Love those two. They're horrible and they deserve each other, but love that series. But it is a very intimate, series, and you don't really get a lot from other characters, and you almost do get sort of like overwhelmed
Mm.
by these two. I think, like, when I think about a lot of works by Asumiko Nakamura, and why
Yeah.
I don't like them outside of Classmates, is that they are these kind of like empty case studies. Because I remember I marathon Jade no Subete.
Here we go.
Shut up.
No, it's fine.
Uh,
We
and
haven't talked about Jane Osabete in a while, so
good. I don't want to. I don't like that I brought it up. But Jane no Subete feels very empty. And though the series is, all about Jay, yes, that's true. But it's just this concentrated character study on all of these horrible things that give you no levity, no break, nothing. And you just feel yourself melting in, and suddenly you're Jay, and everything horrible happening to him is happening to you, and then you have to go cry in your college dormitory. It's a lot. Anyways,
yeah.
but that's one of the reasons why I love Classmates so much, is
Mm.
you do get the main pairing, and then all of their friends who are like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And like, it's so much richer and livelier.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's bad. If you like Jay no Subete, I mean, I ask, are you in therapy? Like, if Jay no Subete is like one of your favorites, I will ask if you are in therapy. But that doesn't make it a bad series. It's just a different way to approach it. And when people have valid criticisms about it, I can see it. If someone were to say, Jay no Subete was a little intense, yeah, I understand where you are coming from, my friend. So we need side characters oftentimes to be a lot of, honestly, cushion for the pushing for your main. Honestly, one that comes to mind a lot is Nagisa and Free, because even though we can say Nagisa is main cast, he's not really main cast. I'm sorry, he's not.
Except that one horrible episode where Nagisa was sad that just broke everyone's heart.
Yeah,
like
what? Like, for him supposed to be main cast, he's not main cast. I'm sorry,
but a
lot of series have that problem. He's important, but he's not main cast. But you need a lot of Nagisa to get shit done. Oron comes to mind with that, with the twins, where are they main cast? Arguably not. Do you need them to move 80% of the plot? Yes, you do.
And also, honestly,
to be there. No, also
they
just to be
are.
There.
I mean, they're the spine of that show. I don't know why anyone else is watching it, but yeah, and again, because and they bring out things in the characters, and we see this, like, if you compare it to real life, we have different relations and kind of like slightly different approaches to ourselves depending on who we're with. So seeing how your main cast communicates or acts around a particular side character, helps you to understand them better, and you need that side character to do that. And if a side character can make the main character or the main cast move in a different way or act in a slightly different way, then that also attributes a lot of power to that side character, because it's like, oh, what is it with them that makes the main character trust them, for instance, or they make them show sides of themselves that you wouldn't see otherwise.
Absolutely. So that's one of the big reasons why these why side characters oftentimes in a lot of ways are better than your mains. Let's spend a decent amount of time talking about the fan responses to side characters. We touched on it a little bit, but I don't think that we really have imbued upon you guys how much we care about some of these absolutely nothing characters.
Don't talk about my children like this. They're superstars, all of them, even the ones I can't remember, because my head is just a black hole that consists of Tamaki. Because my baby,
you really do have Tamaki brain rot.
I know, it's so,
and
oh god,
I almost understand it for him, almost.
But he's perfect. He's. I love him so
I don't know what that sound was that I just made, and we're not going to ask questions about it. I don't know what that noise was, but we're just going to deal with it. So, fans are perceptive. We're smarter than you think. And we see these things. We spotted Matt, and we're like, huh.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's that? Who's he? What's he got going on?
Can we have some more of that, please?
Yeah. And to bemoan the olden days, we researched and we spent time and we learned and we read. Oh my god, do you remember like those like character guides, those like really, really intense thick character guides that you would get? I have so many of them. They have saved my ass so many times while writing. If you want a writing tip from Amanda, get you a fucking character guide.
Yep. Life-saving.
Genuinely life-saving. If you want a writing tip from an old fanfic writer, get you a character guide.
Yes. It's one of those things that honestly speaking, was a necessity because, you know,
It
the
was.
internet wasn't that developed, and you
It wasn't.
bought the physical media, and you know, which is why I don't own a lot of character guides, because we didn't really get any.
You know what? I have ones for the series that I really, really like. I have two of the Bleach ones that go up into the Visored arc, which of course like are my favorite characters. I have an Inuyasha one. I have a Full Metal Alchemist original anime one, and I have the Death Note one, and I think I have one Naruto one. So you know all the big series that I've been writing
Man,
thick about. So I don't. Do I have every character guide? Obviously not. But like the ones that I care about, also. I almost bought you a Banana Fish art book, but I didn't know if you were going to hurt me.
I I probably have it.
See, that's my thing. I was at a store and I was like, I don't know what Curl has, and I don't want to send her something, and then she'd just be like, "Why the fuck have you sent me trauma?"
I'm fine. I've been having this fucked up urge to rewatch Banana Fish lately, and I don't know why. Because honestly, I just want to be happy.
I mean, I've been
But
having the fucked up urge to rewatch Supernatural.
no. Okay, so one of the panels I went to this week was on queer video game characters with author and podcaster and everything with superhuman Laura Dale,
Mm-hmm.
and which was amazing. She's really cool,
Mm-hmm.
and she was talking like it was like a divergence from whatever it was she was talking about, and Tumblr came up, and someone said super hulock, and the entire room, including Laura Dale,
Just
just
groaned.
groaned. It was
Yeah,
just like,
just,
oh,
just,
it was so funny.
just. uh,
Don't do it. You don't want to do this to
It
yourself.
genuinely is. And I don't like throwing this word around like casually. It really is a form of PTSD at this stage. That like if you're in a group with fans of a certain age and you say super hulock, that's the response you're gonna get. It's
Yeah.
just
But I think that in some cases it's actually a genuine, it's like genuinely okay to refer to it as PTSD, because these fandoms, like some of us have serious actual trauma from fandom. And I think
yes.
particularly now because everything has gone to hell.
Yes.
But that's a
We're
different
not,
story.
yeah,
We're not here
talking
to
about that today.
no.
We're not talking
No.
about that today.
Today we're talking about our favorite.
We can't do that today.
I love side characters.
Yeah, we both love side characters so much, and I think I love that was the topic that Carola chose for our anniversary. But fans love this because, again, we have those Fujin goggles. We're trained to look at everything. We're trained to look for those patterns, and oftentimes your side characters in a lot of these series are more engaging, are more interesting. And again, it's that perfect mix of being very well developed and not very well developed at all. And that's like the perfect Fujin space is so like I've been on this tear of writing Full Metal Alchemist fan fiction, and of course like Mustang and Hughes comes back up in my head every once in a while because I do firmly believe that they fucked around. Like I do obviously believe that they stopped when Hughes got married and like met Gracia. I don't think that Hughes ever cheated on his wife. But if you're gonna sit here and tell me that those two men have a platonic liking for each other, I think you're full of shit.
First of all, they're in the army, where gay things do happen.
I was waiting for you to say it because I can't say it as an American.
You,
Someone will kick down my door.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you in danger.
You did. I was like, also because it's 9/11 and you said that.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, I can't say that.
I'm sorry. Just, you know, it's just me and my social democracy being over here like, I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I had to let you say that because if I say that,
I can because listen, I'm in Norway and we do things differently.
You guys do. But you know, yeah, I firmly believe that those guys did some stuff, and you know, again, there's these two characters that are pretty well developed, but there's this gap. There's this gap that we kind of can't account for. We know the bones, but we don't know how the bones are arranged. If you ever want a trip, this is me showing that I'm a nerd, is look up how fossils of dinosaurs used to be arranged.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good metaphor, isn't it?
That one dinosaur that is like the worst skeleton ever.
Yeah, there's one in Germany, and they called it like a unicorn, and it's just like
fucked.
Yeah, like that's what it is. It's we have the bones, we know the bones, but we don't know how the bones are arranged. And again, Fujin and all those that create fan works, I don't want to dismiss those that create hetero fan works. Just fans in general, we can do a lot with them bones. We can do a lot with them bones.
And we can make them jump other bones.
We frequently make them jump other bones.
I enjoy that the most.
So that's the space that a lot of us are most comfortable in is, we know the start and we know the end. It's that middle that we can't account for. And there's a lot of room in that middle that we can fill in with our other stuff.
Yep.
And that's why we love them. That's why we love it. Again, in the Patreon episode, we'll talk more about some of our favorite side characters and rare pairs, and you'll get to hear us gush more in depth over that. But for the sake of an episode, I think this was a pretty good overview of rare pair side characters and why really they're amazing, and they've always been amazing.
Yeah.
And, I get it. From a writer perspective, I'd probably be frustrated if everyone was just like, that lamp is really cool. But then also, why is your lamp more interesting than your entire main cast? Is what I would argue. Is then, to me as a creator, you need to turn that on its head. It's, okay, what is wrong with my main cast that everyone keeps looking over here? What happened? Because, Code Geass comes to mind a lot of times with that. Honestly, most of the Clamp stuff comes to mind, because Clamp had a chronic side character is a more interesting thing. Where it's like, hey, what's going on over there? What's going? Hey, hold up! No! What's going on over there? I don't want to go back to the children being stupid. What's going on over there?
I mean, yeah, but also I will say that I do enjoy my Susalulu, so or Lula Susu. I do think Lelouch tops, but it's easier to say it like Susalulu.
You think Lelouch tops Suzaku?
Yes. Now I'm unsure. I haven't been on this boat for a while.
Yeah, because you're ass backwards.
But I don't know.
No.
I mean, honestly, I just want them together, and I'm like...
Yeah, no, you are. No, ma'am. Incorrect.
I'm gonna have to get back to this in the Patreon app, because I'm gonna have to do some research, because now I've hurt myself in my confusion. I would go back and revisit Code Geass, but you know what? I'm not ready for that kind of pain.
I'm not either.
I'm
not either.
No,
he doesn't. No, sweetie, Lelouch. I don't think Lelouch has topped anything.
I don't.
Except for maybe Rolo.
Oh God, Rolo. What's wrong with you? Oh God, this also reminds me. Have you seen that one statue of Suzaku and Lelouch? That one fucking expensive out of print statue that I love and that I would like to have in my home.
Do you have money for it?
I don't even think you can get it anymore. I think I saw it on some site like last year, and it was so expensive, and it was secondhand. I was like, but I need it, but I also need to live, like.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I also need money for survival.
I could buy it, but also, have you seen the economy?
It's not great, my gamer. Uh, shut up. So
I didn't say anything.
I felt it. You didn't have to say anything. I felt it in the air. Uh, I had a lovely time talking about one of my favorite things with one of my
Yeah.
favorite Fujin.
Ah,
We are all over social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube.
Discord.
We have a Discord that I will get better about actually linking. And we have a Patreon. Patrons of a certain rank start getting free other videos. Free isn't the right word, but additional videos. Free is not the word. Listen, I'm tired.
I know you're tired.
Thank you. Patrons after a certain rank start getting additional videos that no other people see. They're a little crazy, but people really like them for some reason. They also get exclusive merch that no one else gets, except when I print secondhand merch of that, because Carola is obsessed with one thing that I drew a year ago.
You can't blame me. It's
I-
perfect. It's perfect. Perfect. Lemon-kun, I love you.
Because Carola is obsessed with one thing that I designed a year ago.
It's my anniversary, and I am allowed to be hysterically obsessed with a lemon. Thank you very much.
You are. I'm not going to tell you
Yeah,
that you
I
aren't.
am.
You love that lemon. If I went back in time and was like, hey, there's going to be one thing that you designed that Carola's just going to eat up, I would never have assumed it'd be that one lemon.
Why not?
I don't know.
It's so cute. Everyone
It is
loves
really
it.
cute. Everyone does love it. It is very,
Everyone
very
loves
cute. It
Yeah.
is super, super cute. So we will be back at the end of the month for a live stream, as we always are. And Carola, would you like to tell the audience what we're doing next month?
I mean, it's Halloween season. We're gonna get a little dark. We're gonna get a little gritty into the. I don't want to say spooky. It's not spooky, but into the darker realms of BL again.
Yeah, we're gonna do some spooky stuff. To be perfectly honest, we're not entirely sure what slant we're gonna take. So we'd actually love some feedback from you guys. If there's a specific way you'd like for us to take this spooky conversation, please let us know in a yield comments or wherever you do interact with this. We'd love to hear some of your suggestions, because while we both do love some spooky shit, this is also it's sort of a democracy. Love to hear what you guys have to say about that.
And we have, one combined Fujin brain cell, so if anyone wants to contribute to the cause, we're open for suggestions.
We're super open for that shit.
Yeah.
So if you guys would like to let us know what you're thinking, let us know. I say it every time, we have some really fucking cool stuff coming up towards the end of the year, and even getting into next year. We have some really cool stuff that I'm working on the side. Father has been whoring again.
I love the whoring. We love to see it.
But thank you to our patrons, who do get a shout out at the end of the episode. I have not been rattling off your names. It is not because I do not love you. It is because I have been tired. But to our patrons, Lucy H, Amora Blue, Persona Nom Gratin, which is still my favorite, Rin, Weasley, Jamie, Andreasen, Lauren, and Carm, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you so, so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're so glad to have our patrons. If you want your name listed at the end of the show, you can do so at patreon.com/Yaoi Shelf, all the other perks mentioned. Stay safe out there, guys. There's a lot going on. Also, to our listeners in the UK, we do acknowledge that your queen has passed away. We are sorry about that, and that's all we're going to say about it, because colonialism and monarchy is kind of bad. But we are sorry that your queen died.
I mean, it's kind of a world-changing thing for everyone, regardless of how you feel.
A sidebar. I'm a cosplay royalist. Like, I love the monarchy as an idea,
Hmm.
but I do also acknowledge that like they're trash and probably shouldn't exist. Like, I love them as a concept. Like, they shouldn't really have any power. They shouldn't have as much money as they do. But I like the idea of like, this is Britain. I like that concept. As an American who is black, I don't have anyone that I can look to in power. There's no one that I can feel represented by. We had the one, he's gone. He doesn't want to do it again. So, as someone who doesn't have that, I love the monarchy as a concept. Can I also acknowledge that the specific monarchy is high key trash and just high key problematic? And there's a lot of diamonds and art and artifacts and mummies that they should give back.
Yeah. Yes.
To everyone who genuinely feels like you lost a part of yourself, I do genuinely apologize. And I'm sorry that there's been a lot of Americans that have been very, very crass on this topic. And I do apologize for that. To the Irish, the Welsh, those in Cornwall, those in Scotland, people that are black or of African descent, the indigenous, and also those from many, many islands. Y'all with the memes, I have to let you carry on. I also accept any and all slander towards Charles. That's fine. Especially, yes.
Again, honestly, I didn't think it would happen in this order. I thought,
Yeah.
I accept she'd be here. Yeah.
I accept any and all comments about Charles, specifically tampon ones. Specifically the tampon ones. You can make as many tampon jokes about Charles as you want.
I mean, I'm still absolutely raving about that one Norwegian commentator on the news who was talking about the proceedings and how things were going to be when they brought the casket. And he was like, and everyone has to be there. And Princess Anne normally walks with the men, and we don't know if she'll do that now, but maybe she will. And Prince Andrew has to be there. Yes, he has to be there, even though he's toxic, radioactive. And I was screaming. I can't believe this guy actually said this, because everyone else is running around using words like accused and alleged, and this guy was like radioactive, and I respect that.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's true though. So yeah, there's a lot going on everywhere in the world of, again, for those of you who genuinely feel like, you've lost like, really someone who's very important to you. You are definitely in our thoughts and prayers. For everyone else who's taking the piss out of it, just keep in mind that for a lot of people, this is a serious topic. Not saying don't take the piss out of it, but like, so I know a lot of people in England. That's my white virtue signal. I know a lot of white people. That's my white virtue signal. I know a lot of white people. I know a lot of people in England, like, very closely. And like, I remember I was watching the Sky News, and there's just people outside like Buckingham Palace just sobbing. And it's like, okay, for those people, yeah, I get it. Like, we could probably stand to be less asshole-ish, or at least like pick your battles. So that's Amanda being a cosplay royalist. It's very soft. It falls apart immediately with any kind of criticism, but I am a very, very soft cosplay royalist. So be safe out there, guys. There's a lot going on. We will see you at the end of the month for a live stream, and we will see patrons next week.
And thank you for a whole year.
Thank you for being here for a whole year. Leave any nice comments for Carola if you'd like, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.